Let's talk about legacy because it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs, they're obsessed with it. They talk about it and they put a lot of importance into legacy. And I want to give my take on it because I believe there are two major flaws in the way most people approach legacy. But first, let's define the different kinds of legacy that you have. So first, I would say you have societal legacy, which basically these are like the Gandhis, Mother Teresa, and honestly just politicians in general, I would throw them in there. So it's basically the kind of legacy that you leave at a societal standpoint. Then you have the kind of legacy that has to do with innovation. These are the Nikola Teslas, the Wright brothers, and many more. Basically, it's innovations in technology, medical advancements, scientific discoveries, basically bringing these tangible ideas to life so that you change the way people live. Then you have artistic legacy or cultural, which honestly you could make the argument that's kind of a societal legacy. But what I mean by artistic or cultural legacy, here I'm talking about the Da Vinci's, the Michelangelos, the Hemingways, basically anything that has to do with art or culture. Then you have genetical legacy, which is the one that most people participate in. This is basically any parent that has ever existed, maybe also you if you're a father or a mother, so it's just basically having kids. And then finally, I would say you have financial legacy, which I would say this one does not exist. And this is the first point that I actually want to make in this video, right? Because I told you there's two things that I want to talk about legacy. This is the first one. Financial legacy does not exist. A lot of people online who are into business are always talking about this one, but it is completely nonsensical, right? That's what they say, like, oh, I want to build a massive business, I want to make a lot of money, this is going to be my legacy. Meanwhile, the people who say these things, they're just doing like social media marketing agencies, or they're running dropshipping or e-commerce store. That, with all due respect, I've done those things myself and I've made money from it, but there's no real impact. You're just making money, which honestly, it's amazing, but don't go saying like, oh, this is my legacy, it's my empire. Because if you think about the other ones, what they have in common is that they have an impact on other people. But the thing about financial legacy is that it is not a legacy in itself, but it is something that can help you magnify the other legacies, right? When you have money, it's going to be easier to innovate, it's going to be easier to create art, to have an impact in society, or to build your own family, right? It's more of a tool, but it is not a legacy in itself. But the way some people talk about it, they make it seem like it is a form of legacy, and not just money, but the things you acquire with it as well. So if you're not using your finances to leverage other forms of legacy, I would say that basically you're just like Al Pacino in Scarface. I know it's an extreme example, but think about it. That's what he's talking about the entire movie, like my legacy, my empire, this thing that I'm building. But what is it? It's actually nothing. It's just, you're just selling drugs. This legacy that you're talking about is just a story that you find yourself in, that only you are truly enjoying. Now, obviously, this is an extreme example, okay? I'm not saying that doing e-commerce, dropshipping, or having a social media marketing agency is bad or anything like that. No, it's not. I've done those things, but I'm just giving a very extreme example so you understand what I mean. And here's the thing, like, even the people who disagree with this and they believe that they can leave a legacy just by the fact that they were so successful, I challenge you to go to the Forbes list and scroll down, okay? I'm not talking about the guys at the top. Yeah, for sure, everyone knows who Elon Musk is, but go at the bottom. You'll be amazed that I think there's thousands of people who are worth more than $1 billion, and you've never heard of any of them. Like 99.99%, you have never heard of them. Now, this brings me to the second point that I wanted to make, and this is the interesting part of the video. This is what I truly wanted to talk about. Because if you think about the way we are framing all these legacies, they're very grandiose, right? It's like changing the world, going out there and doing this massive thing that's going to have a massive impact, and everyone will know my name, and I will change thousands, millions, hundreds of millions of lives. But what I want to propose is a different way to look at legacy. Instead of focusing on a macro level of legacy, you can focus on a micro kind of legacy. People really underestimate the impact that just a few small actions on a small select group of people can have on a global scale. The way I see life, honestly, it's kind of like ripples. You can make this very small action that starts to have a ripple effect, and the consequences of that action can go way beyond what you ever imagined. And I think this is how true legacy works, because what most people don't realize is that I would say most people, they believe they're never going to leave a legacy. But I would argue that is not true, because every single small thing that you're doing is going to have some form of impact that will indeed leave a legacy, even if you're not some grand inventor. It has happened to me many times in my life that I will run up to someone that maybe I haven't seen for like 6, 7 years, and they will remind me of something like, oh, you told me this thing like 8, 9, 10 years ago, that I still think about it to this day very, very often. And it truly changed me, or it helped me in this way, that way. And because of that, they also helped other people. And without you even knowing, some conversation that you had like 10 years ago for 15, 20 minutes, just because you wanted to help someone, that has had a massive ripple effect that you never knew about. And that's kind of my approach that I have to legacy. Instead of focusing so much on having like these big massive wins, right, making some grandiose invention, making this amazing piece of art or whatever, the way I look at it is every single interaction that I have, I try to make the best out of it, because I know about this ripple effect that everything has, and that's just the core principle of it. If you're good around those who are close to you and you change their lives, that might be enough to leave an amazing legacy that could, in a way, change the world. I know this is a very hippie way to look at it, and it might sound like that for some of you, but I genuinely truly believe this. There's this movie that I would recommend you to watch. It is called Pay It Forward, and the whole premise of the movie is what I just said. And also I would recommend you to watch this video that I have on my channel on Confucius, because it is related to this thing that we're talking about right now. I'm gonna put a card right here so you can go watch that video now. But that's basically it. That's the whole idea of the concept. It's just a way to reframe it and understand that even if you might not make something amazing, like something grandiose, the fact that now you realize that every single interaction, that is your legacy, I think it's a huge mindset shift that can change how you do everything. Even in that movie Gladiator, at the beginning, Maximus says this quote that what we do in life echoes in eternity. I actually have it there on that wall. And I think it is truly an amazing quote, because I think it's exactly this thing that I've been talking about on this video. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. I just wanted to share my take on this. It's a pretty simple concept, but it's something that I haven't heard that many people talk about, and I think it's important. So anyway, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, leave me a like, leave me a comment, follow me on Instagram, send me a DM. I'm trying to get to know some of you guys. I want to know your background, where you're from, all of that good stuff. But for now, that's it. So hopefully I will see you on the next video. Take care. Peace.